What if I told you that your body has a built-in janitorial crew, a microscopic cleanup team that works night shifts, cleaning up all the toxic waste, the broken parts, all the old junk that's in our system? This is the kind of junk that leads to metabolic disease, cancer, impaired brain health, and impaired immune function. And what if I also told you that most people don't even let this cleanup crew clock in? Today, we're going to talk about autophagy, how to flip this switch on this cellular cleanup system, this cellular janitorial crew, and how fasting and exercise can both play a role, and why combining the two of them may be the single smartest thing to do for long-term health and performance. Welcome to Healthspan Digest. I'm your host, Aaron Shaw. I am from Healthspan Physio Coaching. I am a lifelong movement nerd, science nerd, former elite level cyclist, and I'm the guy behind the mic bringing you science-backed, BS-free strategies on how to live longer and better. I work with middle-aged, high-performing, health-conscious clients through my concierge coaching services, people who want results, not fluff. We focus on the 5 pillars of Healthspan. These are exercise, nutrition, sleep, emotional well-being, and preventative care. If that sounds like your kind of operating system, stick around or reach out. My contact information is on all of these podcasts. But let's start out with figuring out, what is autophagy? Well, it literally means self-eating, but don't freak out. This isn't cannibalism, but it is your body's internal janitorial crew. It's sent in to clean up, recycle, and restore. We need to picture that every one of our cells, like 30 trillion cells, imagine that each one of those is an office space. And over time, papers pile up, like on my desk right in front of me. Papers pile up. We have broken furniture, old technology, maybe leftover takeout containers. Things get kind of messy. And without a cleanup crew, this space becomes toxic, really kind of unlivable, dysfunctional at best, dangerous at worst. And this is where autophagy comes in. So this autophagy process sweeps up the floors, cleans up the junk, recycles the broken proteins, even hauls out damaged mitochondria. These are our cells, power generators. This is the kind of stuff linked to aging, metabolic disease, even brain fog, and a whole lot more. So it is essential that we have this cleanup process. No cleanup means chaos. No cleanup is like cellular hoarding. Holding onto a bunch of junk does us no good, and it ultimately will accelerate our overall system breakdown. But when is a crew active? When is it really engaged? Well, we've got a lean, clean, high-performance machine. This is our body we're talking about here. We need to think about improving immunity, improved thinking, sharper thinking, better metabolism, and yes, improved health span. But this is where it gets interesting. We need to think, is it fasting or exercise? Which one of these two will help stimulate the system the most? Because you can't just call up this cleanup crew whenever you feel like it. They show up in response to stress, the good kind of stress, but there needs to be a stress to the system for this autophagy janitorial crew to show up. So you can think about, the power goes out or the resources run low. The building manager, basically our brain, says, okay, team, it's time to come in, time to clean up some waste, kind of clean things up. And what is one of the most powerful ways of doing that? Fasting. So when you stop eating for 12 hours, 16, 24 hours or more, a couple things happen. One, insulin drops. Something called mTOR slows down. This is this protein that's really crucial for regulating cell growth and metabolism. And ultimately, this cellular alarm bells go off. So there's a big alarm system goes off screaming, we're low on supplies, we better start recycling. So the janitors get to work, especially in places like our liver, our brain, and our immune system. So that's what fasting does. Fasting will trigger that. But fasting isn't the only way to clock in this crew. We can also do it through exercise, especially resistance training, high intensity interval training, or HIIT, as they would call it, and long distance cardio. All of these create metabolic stress. The muscles get micro damaged, which is the purpose of these exercises, and our energy gets depleted, and the same process happens. The same things get triggered. Your body says, hey, we got a mess to clean up here. There's been some tissue damage. So again, the janitorial crew shows up. But this time, it's a little bit different. This time is focused on your muscles, your heart, and your mitochondria. It's really more localized than fasting. So we can imagine fasting is we're really putting stress on the entire system by depriving it of calorie intake, where exercise is more localized, more precision. So it's a deep cleaning in the areas under strain. But there's a plot twist here. Most people think you got to pick one or the other. Either I fast or I work out. But what if you timed it just right? Could you get the benefits of both? In a few minutes, I'll kind of explain how you may be able to finesse this a little bit to get the best of both worlds. But what I do want to make sure to think about here is that if you are fasted, well, you got to remember, food is fuel. In order to exercise, we have to have some fuel. So there's going to be a balance point there where if we cut out too much fuel, we need to adjust our expectations for how well we can perform physically, how well we can exercise. So what is our move here? This is what I would suggest for anybody who's interested in exploring this would be once per week, do a fairly low intensity fasted workout. So I'm not talking like a 3-day water fast. I'm just talking literally skipping breakfast. So wait at least 12 hours, maybe 14 hours after your last meal, and then go for a 2-hour zone 2 bike ride. So we're talking zones, we're talking cardiac zones, based on heart rate, but equivalent maybe like a brisk walk. Something gets your heart rate up a little bit, not so you're huffing and puffing, but enough to get the blood pumping a little bit, get your heart rate elevated a little bit. Do that for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour if you're already pretty well trained. Or you can do a moderate strength training circuit. Not super intense. We've got to keep in mind that our body needs fuel to exercise to perform well. And if we are intentionally not fueling beforehand and we're just going straight to the performance side, we need to kind of tamper down our expectations a little bit. But by doing this, and this may take a little practice, but by doing this, you're layering fasting's systemic cleanup with exercises localized cleanup, localized stress. So this is like maybe sending in the janitors and calling the pressure washers at the same time. So you're getting both. Also, the key here is that afterwards, after you go through this fasted exercise session, we need to be smart. We need to refuel. Immediately start thinking protein, maybe some antioxidants, make sure you're getting hydration. And that's the rebuild phase. So we're not just cleaning out the house, we're actually upgrading the systems. And here's the pro tip. You don't need to do this every single day. Even just once a week will give your body time to do kind of this deep clean, recover, and adapt. Remember, autophagy isn't about suffering. It is about signaling. So we're just trying to signal our system, kind of raising your hand saying, hey, we need to get the cleanup crew in here. It's just enough to stress the system to make sure that the cleanup crew comes in, does their jobs, builds you back a little bit better so you can carry on to the next stresses of life. We're talking about cancer, brain health, metabolic disease, immune system function. Super important. And again, autophagy is a very natural process that happens all the time. But for those of us that want to extend our health span, if we want to be strong, vibrant, healthy, we don't want to be hoarders of broken mitochondria and diseased cells or whatnot. We want this regular cleanup system to kick into gear. We want this janitorial system to come in maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. We need to be thoughtful about it and intentional with it. So there's the one thing I would do today to extend your health span is this. I would schedule one morning this week, one morning in the next 7 days, where you do a zone 2 cardio session. This is pretty low intensity. It's not zero intensity, so it's a little bit of effort, but it's a zone 2 cardio session where you're going to get your heart rate up to, let's say, 70 or 75% of its max. And you're going to do this for half an hour to 1 hour, but you're going to do it after you haven't had anything to eat for the past at least 12 hours, 12, 14, maybe 16 hours. Give that a shot. And what we're doing here is we are kicking in, we're signaling to our body to jumpstart this autophagy process, get the janitorial crew in there. You're going to get the benefits of being fasted. So there's a systemic stress, and you're going to get the benefit of actually doing specific exercise. So you're going to get the precision autophagy effects to specific muscles, specific parts of our system. So it's a win-win. So the next time you think about fasting or pushing through a workout, don't just think about it as weight loss or a cardio burn. Think about it as activating the system's cleanup crew. And if you want help building this into your week, let me know. How does this fit into your life? It's I recognize that this concept is, for one thing, this concept is incredibly vast and very complicated, and this is a super short version of it. But if you want to figure out a way to integrate this into your life, let me know. So what I do with my coaching clients all the time, there is a sweet spot where you get a great return on your investment. And then there's overdoing either the exercise part or the fasting part where you actually cause more harm than good. So there is a little bit of finesse to it, but it is a beautiful system. It's built into our body. So you can send me a DM. You can check out my contact information that's associated with this episode. Check out my website. Link is on this episode as well. It is your cleanup crew. Invest in it. You can do fasting. You can do exercise. And if you're really savvy, you can do a little bit of both. So until next time, keep showing up. Keep cleaning your house, your internal house. Stay durable. You are a high performance machine. You just got to put a little effort into it. So this is Healthspan Digest. My name is Aaron Shaw. See you next time.